was in Tulsa this last week for the farm paper, and they, for the vendors, they put on their show Thursday. And they had two whole. Okay, it's 6 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting to order. We have one slight change to the agenda on unfinished business B, capital outlay projects. We're changing it from just a D to a D/A. So now I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Second.
Curtis and Casey. Moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Ryan Shrivogel and Jill. Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, recognitions.
Yeah, tonight is a special night for a variety of reasons. The third grade's here to share with us, and that's going to be exciting. But even before that, we have our own Jennifer Barrett, who is a recent recipient of the Crystal Apple Award for Finney County Excellence in Teaching. And Jennifer's here, and we've got the plaque with her name now on it, and we'd like to get a picture of her with our board president, Mr. Matt Jones. So Jennifer, if you come forward. And keep your comments to 10 minutes.
Where are we going to do this picture, Mad Dog? Good? Yep, good. All right, is she going to take this home?
We put it on the wall out there. Congratulations, Jennifer.
Any more recognitions?
No, that's it for now.
Okay, let's move to financials. Mike?
Okay, on page 2, I'll just point out down towards the bottom, HOH Water Technology spent $8,325 on some filters at the high school for the boiler system to help with our issues we're having there. And then on page 3, we spent at Canamec Hydraulics, we got a new K9, $9,000, and then a broom attachment for it, just underneath there, $7,160. And then on page 4, the boiler repairs, $24,765. So total warrants for this month on page 6, $257,357.71. And then on page 9, our revenues and expenditures are all in line with where we expect to be in spaces, and also on page 11 with the fund expense summaries. So if you have any questions.
Hearing no questions from Mike, I'll entertain a motion to approve the financials at $257,357.71.
Moved.
Ryan Ruda,
Second.
Curtis. It's moved and seconded to approve the financials. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, no public patron concerns. So administrative reports, Dr. Meyer.
I've got a few things to talk about. We are headed into the phase 2 of our year-long MTSS professional learning opportunity in which we've been engaged since the beginning of the year. If you will recall, we've had MTSS K through 5 for many years. So we're kicking those tires and getting retrained in that, but we're launching into the secondary part of the district doing that. This is basically gives us a programmatic way of working with students who are in tiers 2 and 3 as far as academics go. Every student comes to us in tier 1, and then through a variety of progress monitoring and testing, students are identified as being tier 2 or tier 3. So moving into the second phase, we're going to be concentrating on reading, specifically. Next year we'll go to math. Through monthly meetings and the actual strategies will be explored. The team has been expanded now to include teachers, and we're thus far very excited about how the learning has gone for us, and so we expect really good things moving forward. So that's exciting. Good systemic change taking place. Mr. Jones, the calendar committee is getting ready to operationalize, so we'll get that rolling early in January. If you'll recall, we have the 23-24 calendar pretty much done. We got an A and a B to take to vote. So the bulk of the work, we'd like to work a year ahead, is to work on the 24-25 calendar. So before you leave tonight, I need to talk to you about dates to see what might work with your busy schedule. Actually, they do a very nice job with this. We've got this set up to where it's, like I said, working a year out. Excuse me. Just last week, we experienced our internal audit as required by state statute. They come in and spend a good week with us looking at all of our business operations and our basically how we go about doing business. And so, once again, pretty clean audit. They always find a few things here and there, and that will be officially presented to you probably in February. So got that off the table. The Christmas luncheon is next Wednesday. Not this Wednesday, next Wednesday. You're more than welcome. You're invited to attend. 12:30, I believe, at the high school. 12:30? Yep, 12:30 at the high school. So come on up, enjoy some barbecue. Lastly, I just want to give a shout out to everybody who we should all continue to work on improvement, no matter where we are in our position. And I actually have a leadership coach, a fellow by the name of Icon Chum, college roommate of mine. And so I told him this last month when we were getting together, I said, I'll give you a shout out, because he actually listens to the board meetings and critiques me. So I appreciate that. So anyway, let's give a shout out to Chum. So that's all I've got.
All right. Okay, let's move to buildings. Tom? Okay.
Monica's.
Okay. Grounds, Lance?
Nothing further.
Sam, transportation?
Nothing further.
Monica is sick. Mr. Ackerman, technology?
Nothing further.
All right, principals, Mrs. Albright.
So as you recall, with our new ELA adoption at the elementary levels, we also adopted the M class, which is our intervention piece. So as part of the MTSS training, we've been learning about an inquiry cycle, which is basically taking something that you've put in place and going through specific steps, and it's all in one cycle, and making sure that the outcomes that you're hoping for are occurring, and if not, revisiting and figuring out what needs to be changed or whatever, and continuing the cycle. So Randy and I started that a month or so ago, and looking at our progress monitoring data from FastBridge, which our M-Class lessons are a 10-day burst cycle. Based on the students' data, it calibrates their data where they are and produces 10-day lesson plans for the teachers to teach, and on day 7 of each burst, their progress monitored again. It's a really great program. It's basically scripted, so the teachers just have to prepare their materials and have everything ready for their students when they come for their power hour time. So basically, we were looking at, okay, are the lessons that they're teaching effective, and are we seeing the results that we would like to see? So we have 2 FastBridge progress monitoring dates that have occurred after the initial beginning of the year testing. And the first progress monitoring that we did at Wiley, we saw 79% of our students. Now, it's not the whole population, because it's just the students that are in the intervention groups. 79% of them showed growth from their beginning of the year scores, so that was good. And this last week on Thursday, we did our second round, and we bumped up to 95% of them showed growth from their beginning of the year score. So we're hoping this isn't a direct correlation with our typical and aggressive growth that our building and district goals are, but we're hoping that since we're seeing the growth through the power hour, that we will see some typical and aggressive growth at the end. So in January, when we come back for Christmas, we will be doing our middle of the year testing, and so we'll be able to see kind of some judgment on how that's going. So we're really enjoying the program. We're seeing some effective results, and hopefully that continues.
And I will say as a district, and particularly, well, all 4 of the buildings, we have become far more data savvy. And the whole idea of, giving a test or whatever, don't do it if you're not going to look at the data. Well, don't look at the data unless you're going to do something with it. And so what this is ultimately leading us down, it informs our next efforts. And so the only way to do that is you have to, every once in a while jump on the scale and, adjust things from there on out. So nice job. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Thank you. All right, Mrs. Tyne.
Last month, just wanted to add to my board report the KPA section where I talked about going to the conference. I always appreciate that time to be able to go and learn from other leaders and be able to get some ideas on how I can improve and grow as a leader. So of course we come away with 15, 20 different ideas. So we try to kind of focus on 1 or 2 that I've been working on. And so just really appreciate that time to work on myself in the role that I have. Also, I just want to make comment, again, I may have talked about this last time, but just the art that I'm seeing in the building, having that to be a new program in our building, it is nice to see kids be able to be creative. And if you take a walk around the building, you will see a lot of the art that the kids are able to do. And also I'm seeing that transition into some of the work that they're doing in their classrooms. The 5th grade recently did dioramas where they were showing their understanding of the Native Americans that they had just studied. And so it was really nice to see some of that work transition into those projects. Now, some of that they did work on at home with their parents, but still it was great to just see their artistic abilities in that as well. So come on by. We've got art up everywhere. So makes the building so fun. So.
All right, thank you. Mr. Helton.
About 2 weeks ago, we wrapped up our 4th career-based field trip for the year. And I think I wrote a little bit about that in my board report this month. Again, we'll still keep doing the whole grade level field trips every year. Those annual ones, they're fun for the kids. But to emphasize individual plans of study and really focus on student career interests, we want to give opportunities for students to get at least 1 field trip in their time at the middle school that's related to a career interest of theirs. The one we wrapped up a couple weeks ago was tied to Garden City Arts. So a couple areas for anyone listening at home that we're struggling with, a couple fields that had a lot of interest that we're having trouble maybe finding someone to host our kids, medical field, legal field, and architecture. Those had a lot of hits on our student interest inventory. And so if anyone has any connections there, they're welcome to call the middle school and speak with me or Mrs. Cranston, our counselor, or Miss Rachel Davis. She organizes these field trips. But they're going great. We've reached about 50 of our kids so far. The goal is to reach all of them. But thank you.
I want to follow up just a bit. Kudos to Tyler and his leadership team and the people who are working with this in earnest. Ostensibly, the goal of the IPOS, Individual Plan of Study, is for every student in the state of Kansas, by the time they've walked across the stage, they're set up for success, whatever that means, for that individual. And so our goal is to, whatever path the student wants to go down, we help them that way. You back it up, 80s, whatever. The prevailing thought at that time was in order to be successful, a person has to go to college. It's not accurate. There are many wonderful jobs and careers out there that never touch a college campus. Now, if someone wants to go to college, great. We want to help them do that. If they want to enter the world of work, that's great too. So, but what we want to do is find what the students are passionate about. And this actually begins in kindergarten. This whole process. But the middle school is really taking the next step this year by doing these career-based field trips. And kind of the talk out there now is this could become the largest piece of accreditation, is a individual plan of study where we allow or we provide opportunities for students to pick up a couple of credentials or a couple of check marks, if you will, heading them down the path where they believe they want to go. My attitude is, that's great, let's go down that path, but let's always have the opportunity or bridges to go to somewhere else as well. And because when I was leaving Seaman High School, I was down the road to be a physician. Well, I didn't take any math or science classes all the way through high school, so that didn't work. So it's nice to be able to go to a second love, you know. So anyway, nice job on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Johnson.
Oh, that's it,
My one extra is to talk about our students. We do every Monday, we have Monday morning meetings, and so I'm always asking teachers for shout outs, how to, recognize our kids. We had several today. That was really good. Our basketball teams performed really well at the Cimarron Blue Jay Invitational, our first time that we went over there. It was really cool to see both JV and varsity being able to get some good playing time. This tournament weekend, we went to Cimarron 4 days in a row. I think we're really excited to be able to play somewhere else than Cimarron this upcoming week. But our girls won the tournament by beating Cimarron, who had beat them the Friday before in a regular season game. So that was really good to see. Our JV boys won the championship, and then our varsity boys won the championship as well. Not only did basketball teams do well, our wrestling team competed down in Ulysses and got 3rd place in the wrestling tournament, which is probably the highest we've ever competed at that. We've had several individual medalists that won their weight class, which was really good. We also had Riley Tyne and Jensen Kennedy qualified all-state in choir. So did really well there as well. Our FFA horticulture team did a really good job at Garden City this last week. Had several different people place, and our horticulture team, I think, got 3rd overall. So it was just a really good way to start the end of this semester, is to be recognized our students and the accomplishments that they're having right now. So.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. All right, let's move to unfinished business and the 3rd grade concert song.
All righty, this is exciting. This is a celebration for the evening as far as I'm concerned. And students, don't leave here without a cookie. We have cookies over here. So that's a requirement of you being here. So, Ms. Tyne, if you'd come forward and introduce what's going on. As she's doing that, I will say, we really are blessed here in Holcomb. We really have a high-functioning fine arts program, and it starts in kindergarten all the way up through high school. Instrumental, theatrical, vocal, music, general music itself. And what you're getting ready to experience is not a normal thing for most 3rd grades. So this is pretty cool. Randy.
Last month, our 3rd grade students put on a concert for families and, grandparents, parents, and friends. And so during that concert, there was something pretty special that I noticed. And so I spoke with Mrs. Tidwell about possibly sharing that. And so she is here with a few of our students to do that. So I will go ahead and let Mrs. Tidwell come up and take it from here.
To go. Now I'm off. Okay. So a few years back, teachers had an opportunity to apply for a Fail Forward grant. And at that time, I put a grant in, was able to use the money to bring a Kansas songwriter by the name of Thad Beach in, and he did a songwriting session with our then 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. Since then, I was able to attend some different conferences, take part with some other music teachers writing a song, and it has been such a positive experience that I really wanted to be able to get the kids involved in this and do a lot more. So our project, the goal of our project, you can see, was for them to experience that same process. So Our project was to get a song ready for the Veterans Day concert that they could perform. We did have a recording of the entire group singing it, but since I've got a really good crew here, I'm going to hold off on that and just let you hear it live, because live music is always better. Okay, so after we were finished, I then kind of had the kids got some feedback and said, okay, what do you think this process was that we did? And everything that you see on the screen was their feedback. And so those first 3 points would be pretty much exactly what I would say was the process. We wrote down ideas, we put our ideas together. I don't have to play the ukulele, but I did. And then those last 3 was more of the emotional component of that process for them. So I was really excited that not only did we get a product out of it, but they also were able to internalize what the process was. I wanted to kind of get their reaction on, okay, was this something they enjoyed? Mostly they did. We did have a few that didn't feel like they had much of a voice. I'll touch more on that a little bit later. And so the collaboration aspect of it, because we live with so much competition that collaboration kind of gets lost sometimes in the mix. And so this was a very collaborative effort on the part of the students. My next steps are to create some more individualized projects, give them a little bit more direction musically with this. And that the more individual that gets, the little bit more messy it gets, but it also gets the little bit more, it allows those that didn't feel like they were as involved in the initial project to be able to feel like they have a voice, and for them to be able to contribute their feelings, their voice to this. I did ask if they would like to write some other songs, and I could not begin to list their ideas on a screen. Just say, we have everything from Ninja Turtles to Mrs. Tidwell's ukulele. So, the ukulele is a popular thing. Okay. So as we perform, so the results of this are going to be evident in a moment, and so I'm going to have the kids come on up, let a couple of them tell you their side of this, and then we'll perform our song. All right, so would any of you like to step up to the microphone and speak? Okay. Go ahead and introduce yourself to me.
I'm Jocelyn, and I think that we wrote this song, and it represents all the amazing people in America and the things they do, and how they made America free, and the way it is now. Hello, I am Kaylee, and I think that this song was inspiring for all of us because it represents about America.
Hard to know where to switch the direction to place them. You guys ready?
America is home to the veterans. America is freedom for everyone. America's flag is red, white, and blue. That's what America is. America is home of the evil. America is
That was truly excellent. Very nicely done.
Job, Squeaks.
Robin will show you to the cookies. You have a lot of talent there in third grade. Nicely done.
All right, while they're getting their cookies, we'll move on to capital outlay projects.
Tom, if you come forward, this won't be quite as inspiring as what we just experienced. But Tom will break out into song here in a moment.
Don't take the ukulele. Tom might need it.
Okay. This is a meeting where we generally come together and talk about the next set of capital outlay projects. And we were heading down that path swimmingly, putting things together, getting the laundry list put together, ready to go. And then the chiller at the high school decided to make itself known and completely, well, not completely, but decide not to work anymore. Thus, throwing our best laid plans into, I won't say the word chaos, but adjustments are being made. So, I still want to talk to you about the long-term list of capital outlay items. But prior to that, we need to discuss the chiller. You have in front of you, board members, this chart, the color-coded chart. This shows you the areas of the high school that the chiller provides conditioned air. So you'll see it's 2/3 of the building. It's a 200-ton unit that now 100 tons is working for now. It's an 18-year-old unit. According to Train, it's 90% spent. It's end of life. The option, as far as I'm concerned, is to fix it. I mean, we need to address this. If we don't, just the way modern buildings are built anymore, they don't have windows that open. Come mid-April, or depending on what happens with weather, mid-April, May, then August, September, into October, it will be extremely warm and hot in those the yellow areas. So we've engaged with EMC, or Iron Insurance, and then goes through EMC. That's our insurance side of things. We've engaged with Train to give us options as far as, well, how do we go about addressing this? Fully well knowing that if the board were to choose to purchase a brand new unit, it takes 52 weeks to get it here. So that's a year, basically, ballpark. So it'd be next December before it gets here. We have a bid to replace it at $332,775. That fully replaces it. We have a bid to fix it for $202,000 and change. The virtue of the different choices. It's less money if we go with $202,000. Our coverage is $100,000 with insurance. That's what the coverage is, okay? So take 100 off of whatever I tell you, but that's if everything comes through the way it's supposed to come through. The details from the Train people as far as fixing it goes, all we would get on that is a 1-year warranty on the compressor, and that's it, nothing else. If we were to buy a brand new system for basically $100,000 more, we'd get 7-year warranties on everything, including the come out and take care of the Freon continually. But that's the long-term fix. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, we won't have this here by then. So that's the second piece of this problem, okay? We've worked it out with them, like we've pressurized it up today, and it's 50% good. And so we'd work out, as long as it would keep working, a system of opening and closing individual rooms. So when we don't need the auditorium cooled, we won't have it being cooled. When the gym doesn't need to be cooled, I mean, honestly, it's one of those things we look at, maybe graduation is outside. We don't know yet. I mean, we'll see how this performs. We do have a 60-ton unit that came out of the bond project at Holcomb Elementary School, and we've looked at, is there a way to jerry-rig that in to add to it? We don't know the expense of what that would cost to make that happen, but that's not our plan B. That's our plan C. Plan B is they would, out of the goodness of their hearts, if we were to, well, we move forward, and it shoots craps on us, and let's say in May, for $12,000 a month, we can rent a unit which comes out on a truck, and it provides the cooling. You know, the good thing about that is we can go in and out of that deal. So we can have it for April and May and tell them to take it away in June. We don't want it in June, July. Bring it back mid-August, back and forth. We don't want to be doing that, but that is the fallback. We've looked at rooftop units. We couldn't get them in time. Look at window units or heat pump systems. Don't know how that would work to engineer those in. So that's this year. Decision one is, do we repair it, the current system that's broken, or replace it? Tom, have I left anything out?
No.
On this so far?
Right now, we got about almost 14,000 hours on that chiller right now. I've had was it EMS guy?
Yeah.
They had to send a mechanic out of Colorado that worked for the state of Colorado, and that's all he did. And he said, you can repair it, but you're gonna be working on it every month. He said, it's just, trying to dry it out is gonna be the hard part. I'm not trying to talk you into a new
So
one, but
basically, the $200,000 fix is we're just basically flushing $200,000 down the.
I believe so, yes, John, Matt. I talked to a few other guys. One guy out of Davis Electric used to work at Davis. His dad works on chillers for his, I don't know if you know Wes or not. I talked to him about it Thanksgiving. He says, man, you got a nightmare. I mean, we can repair it, but like John would train now and Wes and everybody else I've talked to, they said, we're gonna be putting money into that unit every time we turn around. So it's gonna take a lot to dry all the coils out.
And since it is at 90% shot, I mean, just end of life, there's really nothing we can do to baby it along. You know, say, well, can we fix it a little better than just fixing it? No, the fix is what it is. And in my opinion, and I don't like spending this kind of money, but I definitely don't like throwing good money after bad. If we were to repair it, if not next year, within 2 years, we'd be back here again. I mean, according to the guy who came out and everything we've been able to research on this.
My biggest fear is if we repair the one half, we hit that thing hard this summer when it gets 100 degrees out. The other half goes out, we have another 200 and some thousand back into it. So we got 400,000 back into a chiller that's 14 years old.
And also, I mean, this area of the board meeting is called capital outlay projects. The reason contingency reserve even exists is for this kind of thing, or if a microburst occurs, and you know, and we do have we've got plenty of money sitting in contingency reserve to address this either which way. So the motion that I would like you to make down the path, whether you decide to fix it or replace it, would be to use contingency reserve funds to blank the new high school chiller not exceeding blank. My personal belief, Tom's recommendation, Mike's recommendation is to actually purchase the new chiller. You know, just so instead of being now the motion is being made in a certain manner because we don't know yet fully. I mean, that's the cost, $332,775. We don't know what the insurance is going to do. So I don't want you to come in and make it $222,000, and then insurance we have to go to battle with, and they only give us $75,000. Then we got to come back to you. So the motion is not to exceed that amount. I had a conversation today with Trent, our representative, and made it fairly clear, patently clear. We expect them to go to battle for us, and I don't see any reason why they wouldn't cover the full $100,000. But that game is yet to be played, and we're in the process.
Yeah. The only nice thing about going with the new one too, it's going to be driving by freak drive, so it'll be cost efficient as far as electrical go. Be a lot more efficient unit than what we have. 'Cause right now if we call for air, we're at 100% running. Versus our freak drives, we're going to be, you know, we just need to chill a little bit of that school. We're only going to go use 50% of electric.
We're just out of curiosity with chillers in other buildings there, are we tracking where they're at there as far as life expectancy and what we
have
need
two
to be looking at long range?
We have two more up at the middle school. Nice thing about them, the barrel that actually froze in this thing is inside the building in the middle school. The Hawaii school one is outside with that chiller. And it's insulated and everything, but it's just one of those crazy things that just, something I wasn't expecting, the day before Thanksgiving, go out there and see Niagara Falls. It just,
So Tom, the rest of the building has other smaller units that are servicing it?
the two-story part that not yellowed, it's got its own little heating and kind of an air conditioner unit there. It's a bigger unit too. All the rest of them has rooftops.
That's what we did in the Holcomb Elementary too.
Yes.
We got a lot of, so that's where the other 60-ton.
Right.
Yeah, and I looked at that 60-ton today. I'm not gonna guarantee that thing's gonna work. I mean, because there's a coil out there that's never got wrapped up and.
I just like the fact that, I mean, as far as, you're talking about the near future, and I appreciate that. As of today's test, it's 50% good. Like Tom's right, we're gonna be putting a load on that puppy. And so it's important, I mean, they don't build them to be half work. And so it will be important to shut off individual rooms and figure out what's going on at different times. Once again, if we don't have anything going on in the auditorium, we're gonna shut that puppy off. We'll make sure we have it in the classrooms. My pressure point, honestly, is the commons area. It's where we eat lunch. That's where and we're looking at options. We're looking at options. But so if everything goes properly for us, the 50% works, yay, move on down the road. If that doesn't, we find out we can put the 60 in, daisy chain it in some way, and Tom said they've got a thing drawn up, set up I won't get into his world, but there's a way it could be done. And then the fallback is we rent the unit, on the back of the truck. And fallback. Fallback is we don't have air conditioning in these areas with the windows that don't open. That makes it a little bit more difficult. In fact, the windows don't open.
So do we only have the one quote, the 332?
Yeah, from the trained people, yeah. And they're in the purchasing co-op, so I mean, it's perfectly legal as far as that goes, that aspect of it. And they're the people who did the original work, and that's who we've been working with on this.
It's really training. Tetro doing it. We'll be doing it. Either way we go.
So they do think that they could tie this 60-ton unit in and make it work, or are we?
We are hoping.
Maybe it'll work.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean, that 60-ton hasn't ran in what, 4.5, 5 years?
Yeah.
We took it out of the elementary. And it's sitting behind our shop right now, but yeah, it's been sitting there for.
I guess, I mean, you go with what you got and see how you get, and then I think your backup is you rent the portable.
Yep.
If need be.
And what we will do is sign a contract, $0. We'll sign a contract saying we get right of first retrieval. Instead of retrieval. And then at that point, if we order it up, then we start getting a bill. So it puts us in line. And
then you hope that you only have to.
we hope we don't have to call them at all. We lose the phone number and
Yeah.
we don't have to worry about it. That's I hope in one hand and wish in the other.
I think it's pretty apparent we need to order the new one.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a year.
Yeah, and they come out of Pueblo, Colorado, which really surprised me. It's a year out, but even this guy out of Colorado, he says, man, it's nuts, It's the same thing we have here. You can't find help, and they're in the same boat.
But I think using contingency reserves is a good way to go too.
I think it is the way to go. I asked Mike to run some numbers for me on our expenditures that we've been having in the spring semester over the last 4 years within capital outlay. Pretty interesting, but you can see when we had major projects. If you go back 4 years ago, $2.7 million. Well, the bond was going on, right? Year of COVID, only $194,000. But even when we had school January, February, and half of March, and basically shut down, we still spent $194,000. So it's interesting. But anyway, and from, I've told you guys before, my rule of budgeting is to spend less than the revenue we bring in. Well, right now, just given the pace of what we've done things, we're sitting at about 177 left off of new money. Now, the saving grace about that is, come July 1, we get that all over again. And so, if you'll recall, with the increase of assessed valuation in our mills where they are, it generated over $900,000. So I'm not real worried about dipping into, I just don't like to do that more than once, and more than 1 year at a time, because I still want to talk to you about other capital outlay projects that you have on sheet 2 within this area. So I'm sorry to, merge the peas and carrots together, but this is how dynamic this has been as far as getting the information and ready to work with you.
With this new system is gonna come some bigger, more evolved filters. And can't we? use
Honestly.
some COVID money for this.
No, baby.
I like how you think, but
The filter's gonna be this thick on those.
Yeah.
okay.
Matt, I'll make the motion that we purchase the new chiller unit for the high school using contingency reserves not to exceed $332,775.
Jill and Casey. Moved and seconded to go ahead and purchase the new chiller using contingency reserve not to exceed 332 and change. What was it? 332,775.
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. On to the next.
Okay, so part 2. Originally, when I was writing about all this stuff before this all happened, the idea was to come together and talk about capital outlay projects. Okay, so you have on page 2 the list that I've put them in order, not of honestly of my desire, but probably in the need of the district. And so just from 1 to 10, and I would say there's probably other topics that just didn't make this list, but main gym for the bleachers comes in at $385. Football field concession stand restroom comes in at $100 plus. Holcomb Elementary Playground, $240. Now, there's a grant we will try to get, if we get that. And that's what I'm saying. Let's say we pursue the grant and we get it, well, maybe that goes to the top, because of the way this flow of money. Parking lot south of Wiley Elementary, $50,000. Complete redoing of the track, $400,000 to $500,000. Bus road out to Main Street, $35,000. Football lights, $240,000. Gym floor replacement, $150,000. Bathrooms for visitors at football game, $130,000. And honestly and truly, my favorite one, the building trades building at $100,000 plus. And we've yet to hear back from the grant efforts that we wrote with the Spark money. We'll see how that comes through. So, there's no motion made here, but I kind of need to know the desire of the board. I've put them in the order that I recommend them. That's the recommendation. Fully well knowing next week, come back and something else explodes, that number will change, and this order will change.
No more explosions.
This is your rank priority?
Yes. Yes, it is.
How much was the grant on the playground? 50?
It's 40, wasn't it? Yeah, yeah. But that, we received it 2 years ago, we didn't get it last year. So, we'll try again, but I think they like to spread the wealth. But it was a good grant, they got submitted. And if you go to my number one choice or recommendation, the main gym bleachers. Right now, we're Armstrong pulling those in and out. Okay, that's fine, it works, right? Until it doesn't. And then if somebody were to wrench their back whilst doing that, if it's an employee, that's one thing. If it's not, it's another thing. You should have seen the head basketball coach's face when I said, we could play all the games in the South Gym.
I get your logic there on the prioritizing. I guess in looking at this list there, I have a hard time not moving the building trades building, something that goes to serving a broader distribution of students. Each one of these areas outside of the playground really is, and the parking lot is athletic heavy. That's kind of just my first take on looking at this. There is something that can generate revenue, like your building trades. To me, I think needs to be prioritized higher. But
And that's a good overview assessment of the topics. You're right. Vast majority are. dealing with athletics, just it's expensive to have, costs money to have stuff.
Athletics isn't important.
No. Every program we have is our most important program. I'm a true believer in the various athletics and fine arts and ag. You pick it, due to the success skills that come along with it. It just costs money to have a track.
Because if I remember right there in that concept of the building trains, that also incorporated concession bathrooms.
If we were to do that, that number would change.
Right.
Yeah, that is correct.
Right.
Yeah, what I submitted to the Spark people was $900,000, and it got all three.
Right.
And the other piece of this, anybody out there listening to this, is if it turns into a building trades building, it becomes a CTE program, and it provides funding for years to come, which is, it's a good thing.
I'm in agreement of moving that up the list somewhere. I mean, I think that would be really important as well.
I guess is there, question I would have is the board's willingness to address the main gym bleachers, because if we order them after the January board meeting, the work could get done this summer. If we don't, it won't. And so that would come out of capital outlay, would not be contingency reserve. Yes, it would go deeper into the revenue, and that doesn't make me happy, but it is what it is.
I guess how much money are we looking, do we have to?
The cash is there. We have plenty of money in the capital outlay fund. I just like to every year stay within the black. Yeah. We've got $177,000 cushion right now.
Dr. Myers, remind me on the bleachers, that's replacing the entire set and
You can't change it.
can't do the rollers
No,
anymore?
it's all or nothing, which is very frustrating to me.
And it would be a movable one set
All
again?
right. Tom, can you speak to the?
They'll take them ones out that we originally have, and they'll come back in with almost the same, but we'll also have handicap accessible in there.
That is true. That's true.
And they're gonna be automatic seats. They don't even sell them now where you gotta get the kids or us or the yard crew and everybody to flip them up. They'll come out and they'll automatically go up, kind of like the colleges. They're probably the same setup. That's through Heartland Seating. They're not nicer.
And if we ordered them, we could probably get them? Or is it gonna be a year out?
Accordingly, if we order them January, they can do the work in June, July, and August. Now, it'll be very hot while they're in the gym doing that work. Yeah, we'll get a fan or two.
Rent a porta cooler.
That's what we've been told is yes, we would be able to get the work done this summer.
What does it take, what does it take to get the building trades building going? Like, you said you submitted it. but
Right.
haven't heard
Well, I
back.
mean, we're waiting for that funding, that form of funding. If we say, no, we're not doing that, let's just go. We have a drawing. I mean, it depends if we want to do the concession stand, restrooms, building trades, or just a building for building trades. We'd have to make that determination, but we do have drawings. So we could just engage with Mammoth if you wanted to, or, another group I've been flirting with, which is a bid design build group, and roll. I mean, it would not be a lot of pre-work. Now, originally, I'm of the mind to moving it west, along the fence line. But by doing that, that will increase the infrastructure cost. If we were to just come straight back in where the current concession stand restroom is, you've got, the sewage and water and all that kind of stuff. That's the smart money to do it there.
Is there enough room there, though?
Well, we could always mess around with the fence. I mean, the entry could go to the west, mid bleacher. And then it gives kids a place to play football during the games.
Yeah, the mean guys putting snow fence up so they can't.
I know.
But what I'm wondering about is, can we afford to do both? Can we do the bleachers and try to get the building trades going at the same time? Maybe not complete them both, but is that is that cutting in too much to what we have? What are your thoughts on that?
It would really depend on what we did with the building trades building. If it's just a, what's that company?
Mammoth?
I'm sorry?
Mammoth?
No, one of your groups that makes,
Morton.
Morton. If it's just a Morton building, that's $100,000 and, plus, sure. If the decision is to, kill two birds with one stone and do the restrooms and put that all together, now we're going up. Let's call it 700. Okay, now it's $1 million, because you got $1.1 million, let's say. You would, assuming nothing went bad next year, we would recoup that investment next year. But you're going to have expenses because we have facilities.
What's the concept thought on the concession and restroom then? Morton doing more of like a steel frame, yeah.
I mean, great thing about that is if you wanted to come in and put like a brick ledge, we could always pretty it up later on. It needs more, it needs to be updated. It needs to have more facilities.
So the number 2, the football field concession stand and restroom was like 100,000.
100 plus, yeah.
And then the building trades is another 100, so we're looking at around 200,000.
Yeah, because what I turned in for Spark was creme de la creme. It was a beautiful thing. So, could you get it for, I don't know, $350? Both sides of it, yeah, probably. But I would want to work that all up and give you definitives. I just need to know where to spend the time. Lots
And
of lawns to mow.
if we get the 100,000 from the insurance, that helps a little bit also.
If we incorporated the building trades and the whole kit and caboodle there, and maybe made it more of a community building as well, would it be worth going out for a bond or something?
That is a board question as I push back from the table. Mike, when does our last bond retire? Another 7 years?
At least, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's, personally, I don't
Give
think
me
it's,
the evil eye here.
I don't think it's a good idea to have two bonds running simultaneously. Is it legal? Yes.
Yes, it's legal.
Do I think it's a good idea fiscally? No. I personally, I don't.
I guess from my standpoint there, kind of going back to what Jill said there though too, I wouldn't mind seeing some plans that came back that incorporated the building trades and the concession.
That's something I can do. Fairly quickly.
Quite honestly, for something that gets used less than 10 times a year, I don't know that we have to go whole hog on a concession stand. It does need to be updated, restrooms need to be updated, but I would like to see some concept drawings of what building trades and the concession bathrooms look together.
I would too, and I just like the idea of involving our students in it. Being able to, provide that opportunity for kids that are interested in that avenue.
Okay, so looking at my laundry list here, the adjustment that's been made is numbers 2s and 10 go together and become number 2, unless it supersedes mean gym bleachers.
So just, again, out of curiosity then, your bleachers, you order them now. What's required down? 50% down, 50% at end?
I don't know.
I guess what I'm saying is it's gonna be different fiscal years that things are gonna be hitting though too.
The Kansas cash basis law, when we order it up, we're supposed to encumber the money.
Correct.
And so it'd be encumbered now.
Right.
So. And even if, we don't cut the check till then, it's still this year's money.
It's encumbered, but yeah.
And like I said, if the board were to take the action in January to take care of the gyms, bleachers, it would still, from last we spoke, would have it in time. The work would be done over the summer. Okay. So I'm not seeking any sort of motion tonight unless you feel perfectly comfortable doing it. We'll move on. What I would do is leave this meeting, come back next month, or I'll be writing to you about it, then come back next month with an adjusted, with more information, maybe a rough concept drawing of the building that would go together. Yeah, Randy, Lance, what's the timeline on the grant for the playground? When's that come out?
It's just come out in November, right? And I think it's due January.
Okay.
We will just have to get, I mean, everything's pretty much ready. We just need to get the bid updated.
Okay. So that funding cycle is March-ish, as far as we'd know. Okay. Okay. So I think I have enough, Matt, if you want to move on, but
All right,
we did get the motion for the, okay.
the chilling,
We talked.
chilling.
We did.
Okay.
All right, let's move to new business and early graduation requests.
This, as per board policy, which I think is a good one, we allow our seniors who choose not to come back the second semester of the senior year, as long as they've hit 3 criteria, to graduate early. They have to be on track to graduate. Give us a letter, which you have, of what their plans are, and then support from a guardian. The way the policy's built, the juniors this year have to apply for next year. And so you have 11 requests for next year. I think this year we've got 6 who are taking advantage of that. I mean, came before the board last year and are, in the process of finishing out their high school career. The reason I support this is because I think it's the epitome of meeting a kid's academic and social needs. So if they're ready to move to the next level, get on getting on. So I recommend that you approve of the requests for early graduation.
Dr. Myers, if they change their mind, they're welcome to stay, right?
Absolutely, and we've had that. We've had that occur, and for very good reason. And one particular one is one of the programs over at Garden. As long as she stays in school, it's free.
Right.
Where she walks across the stage, metaphorically, then you have to start writing a check. So, no, they absolutely can say, "Oh, I want to stay."
I would recommend board approval of all 11 requests for early graduation.
Second it.
It's Ryan and Jill. It's been moved and seconded to approve of the 11 early requests for graduation. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, on to another great one. High school intercom system.
'Tis the season of capital A projects. It's all about the high school, Jerry. We didn't have these issues before you became the principal.
It's the oldest building.
Uh-huh. Oldest has a different definition, I guess. Anyway, the high school intercom system is dead. This is a safety factor. We need to replace it. We went out to bid. Only one company came forward, but we did check to see if that was in the ballpark of everybody else, and it is. So you have a bid before you to completely turnkey replace the high school intercom system from Electronic Contracting Company for $32,936.98, and I recommend the board accept that bid so we can do that work.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan, Ruda, and Curtis. Moved and seconded to accept the bid from Electric Contracting Company for $32,936.98 to replace the intercom system. All those at the high school. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, disposal list.
Before my time is done here in USD 363, I want to get to where this disposal list has nothing on it. You'd think we're there. I mean, this is with 8th, 9th time? It's my 5th year here. It's like rabbits. It's amazing. Now, there's not much on it this time, though. Not much on here.
That one year you had 5 pages.
Oh, well, it's elementary land.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, I do.
Look at Holcomb Elementary.
Yeah, right, Randy. I do have a new favorite thing, though. Large paper mache tree that is. I'm taking that. I want that. So if you guys recall, that's how I got the frog in my office, is through one of these things. What happens is we can't throw away a book. We don't throw away books. We can't throw away a broken chair without board approval, okay? So what we do is we bring forward this list of items that have not been used whatsoever. If you say goodbye to it all, we send out a message to the district, say, hey, if anybody has use for this professionally, you're welcome to it. If that, nothing happens, then we go to the organization and say, anybody want to sell a large paper mache tree? And then student, it's a way for them to put a little money in their coffers, junior class, whomever. When that's finally finished, then we throw everything away. But in order for that to get going, I recommend the board dispose of the items on the disposal list as presented.
It's this scarecrow candle lamp.
You'd think somebody would want that.
I think Matt wants that.
That sounds interesting.
Matt, I
Jen
move
wants
that
that.
we approve it.
Jen wants
Okay.
that.
That's Christmas. That's a Christmas.
Jill and Casey. Moved and seconded to dispose of items on the disposal list. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. All right, executive session.
It's a solid 45.
45. What if we go, all right, just you, or we need everybody?
We're going to call the principals in one by one.
How about we go in at, what time is it? 10 after 7 for 45 minutes to include principals and Dr. Myers.
Principals as called, as needed, yeah.
Principals as needed.
So moved.
Jill and Curtis. Moved and seconded to go into executive session at 7:10 for 45 minutes with Dr. Myers and principals as needed. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. All right, we are back in session.
Women won.
I need a motion to hire Amy Callahan as a second grade teacher.
So moved.
Second it.
Ryan Shrivogel and Jill. Moved and seconded to hire Amy Callahan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I need a motion to hire Jennifer Seaman as a school social worker.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan Ruda and Jill. Moved and seconded to hire Jennifer Seaman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're good?
Yes.
All right, smart Alec. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Curtis
Yep.
and Ryan Ruda.
Has the big storm hit yet?
8 o'clock.
Tornadoes.
Moved and seconded to we adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?